What's up, you guys? Matt with Matt Builds coming at you with another video. I'm going to do something a little bit different. I've had some recommendations and some requests for this type of video. We're going to do some shorter videos and probably do a series of them. And if you have any requests or anything you would like to see me do, leave it down in the comments below. And while you're down there, hit that subscribe button for me. But we're going to go through and kind of just go over checking the oil, checking the coolant, different fluids like that. Now, please keep in mind that not every vehicle is going to be like mine, and it's not going to be set up the same way mine is. So I'm going to show you on my personal vehicle kind of where these things are located and things you can look for to find these things. And yeah, I hope that this video series will help someone. But I'm going to quit rambling and we're going to get underneath the hood. So the first thing I want to show is how to pop the hood. And I realize this might be extremely basic, but most vehicles are right here. They'll have a little car emblem with the hood popped on it. They may be located here. I've seen some located down here on the kick panel, and I've even seen some located kind of down here on the trim, but typically they're right in this area. But first thing we're going to do is pop the hood. Now this may be a little bit hard for me to show on camera here. Let me see if I can get it to focus. But typically, I'll go ahead and pop my hood. Typically there's a little lever right here, and it may go, you know, this way, or it may go back this way. And you may or may not have shocks. You may have a hood prop. Mine had a hood prop and I added the shocks onto it. If you do have a hood prop, then you would just lift this up, and typically there's a little arrow or something kind of letting you know where to hook that hood prop to. So we're looking for a dipstick for the engine oil, and most of them will actually have it written on there. You can actually see it says engine oil on the dipstick right there. So you want to go ahead and pull that out. So what you're going to want to do is, some of them may have like two dots like that right there. Some of them may have kind of like a hex pattern, like a checkered pattern between those two dots, or a little area like that. But you're going to want to wipe that off. And then we're going to put it back in. All the way, make sure it's all the way in. Pull it back out. And then you're going to want to check without, you know, without the engine running or anything like that. So mine is right there, if I can get it to quit moving here. Mine is right there at the top of that dot. Now, typically, if that oil is anywhere in this area, you're pretty okay. But typically, so from one dot to the other typically means it's about a quart low. So if that oil line that you see right here on this dot is down here, then you're going to need about a quart of oil typically. Now, that's not a guarantee on every vehicle, but typically that's about the guideline. If your oil line is right in here, then you're going to need about a half a quart and so forth. So once you got it right there and you know you're in the good spot, wipe it off and put it back in. So let's say that you do need to add some oil. Typically, you're going to have a cap like this somewhere underneath the hood of it. And you may have to look, but it's going to say engine oil on there. It may be black like my cap. I've seen some that are yellow. Some of them may just have this little oil symbol right there. But this you're going to unscrew. Mine's usually pretty tight. And you're going to want to put your oil right in here. So however much oil you need, you're going to put it back in here. Put your cap back on, and you have added oil to your vehicle. Now we're going to check the coolant. So this is your radiator cap. My vehicle's hot. I just got home from work not long ago. Do not remove this when it's hot. It is under pressure, and if it is hot, it'll be under pressure and there will be boiling coolant inside there basically. It'll be hot enough to boil water pretty much. So if this is hot, don't pull this cap. Typically a good visual right here on this tank. So this is my coolant tank. Not all of them will actually say, you know, or be black like this. I've seen some again that are yellow and all different colors, but typically they will say coolant on top of them. And it will be on top of this reservoir. You'll be able to notice by this hose that's going from your radiator over to that coolant tank. And you can see the low and the high lines. So my coolant reservoir is pretty good. More than likely my radiator is going to be good on coolant also if I'm between those two lines. So if you do need to add coolant, pop this cap off, fill it up till you're between those two lines down there. A halfway point is just a good rule of thumb place to keep it. Put the cap back on, and there you go. You have added coolant to your vehicle. On to the power steering fluid. So mine actually has a nice little reservoir right over here off to the side of the vehicle. Some of them are actually on the power steering pump itself, which may be located down here on the motor. But again, the cap says power steering fluid. The caps may be different colors. Again, I've seen them down on the side of the motor down there. Typically, they're going to be somewhere maybe on the driver's side of the engine. And if you locate this belt right here, there may be a power steering pump somewhere down in here, and it will have a little cap or a reservoir that's built into that power steering pump. But again, on this, you can kind of see, if I can get the camera down here, you can see your two lines down here. And that's kind of a high and low. So as long as you're in between those, the good thing about these reservoirs that they're putting on the vehicles now, a lot of the older vehicles didn't actually have the reservoirs like on the power steering fluid and such. So you couldn't just kind of give it that visual glance. You actually had to unscrew the cap, pull it off, and check it just like you check your oil. So you may have to do that. You may have to unscrew that cap, wipe it off, put it back in there, screw it down, pull it all the way back out, and then check that level on that stick that's on the cap. But again, mine is just right there, visual check. Again, if you need to add power steering fluid, take that cap off, add to it, put it back on there. Washer fluid. Again, with these wonderful kind of clear see-through tanks, you get a visual aid. Now this one right here, the washer fluid, there's no like high and low. If you see the coolant, you can kind of see it shaking around in there. Or not the coolant, the washer fluid, you can see it shaking. I'm about half a tank of washer fluid. So if you see that's low and you're not getting any washer fluid out of your washers, get you a jug of washer fluid. It says it right there on the top. Okay, so now we're over here on the driver's side of my vehicle, and we're going to check the brake fluid. So this is the brake fluid reservoir right here. Typically, if you look on the driver's side of your vehicle, so right here is where about my steering wheel would be. Right in here, you're going to see, most of the time you'll see like an ABS module or something like this. You're going to see brake lines running off of it. You'll have a tank right here on top. And again, on the side of that tank, excuse the dirty engine, you're going to have a max line and an empty line or a low line. Again, on the brakes especially, you might want to make sure you kind of stay a little bit to the higher side of it. And typically, if you read these caps, they'll have on there what kind of brake fluid to use and what have you. I'm just going to leave it there. You can see right here, it says use only .3 or .4 fluid. So it'll tell you what kind of fluid you need to put into this. Now, my truck is a manual transmission. So I actually have a clutch fluid reservoir. In my video that I made the other week, you can go on there to kind of see how I bled it and everything. But again, we got another clear reservoir right here, max minimum. And again, it says on here, sorry, .3 brake fluid. So that's pretty much it on that guys. I'm going to move over to the other side and kind of just show you how to check your air filter, and we'll wrap this video up. So locating the air filter. This is the engine. You're going to have a tube running off one side or the other. Some will run off the passenger side, some of them will run off the driver's side. Every vehicle is going to be a little bit different, but if you look for a tube kind of like this running off the side of the top of your engine off either side, and it's running to a box, your air filter is in here. Now every vehicle is not like this again, but you pretty much just have snaps here. Mine, I thought there was one down there. Mine just has the two. So we're going to lift that up, if I can do it one-handed, and there's your air filter. We're going to take that air filter out, check it, and we'll look at mine and see. It's pretty clean. Air filter looks clean, no dust, dirt, nothing like that. So it's good. Put that cap back on there, or the cover back on. Now mine does have some little alignments right here. You're going to make sure those go down in there. And again, I'm doing this one-handed here. Make sure your little clips, there we go. Make sure your little clips hook back down like so on each side. And there you have checked your air filter. Again, I take a lot of this stuff for granted, that I had someone showing me how to do this stuff as I was growing up. And I've learned over time that not everyone had the people around them showing them. I was brought up that you fix something yourself if you could before you took it to someone else or got someone else to do it. Yeah, I hope this helps someone. I'm going to do more series like this. I'm thinking the next series I'm probably going to do is going to be checking the air pressure in your tires and adding air pressure to your tires. And I know a lot of guys, this might, be null and void to you. But if there are some ladies out there, I see them at the tire pumps trying to pump air in the tire, and they don't have anyone that's ever showed them how to do this stuff and someone to help them out. So if I can reach out and help someone like that, or even a young person growing up that doesn't necessarily have someone to show them, or doesn't have no one that knows how to do this stuff to show them. So anyways, I hope you guys enjoy. I'm gonna quit rambling. Please like, share, and subscribe. Even if this video didn't help you, please like it and subscribe to my channel and help me get these videos out to someone that it will help. But I appreciate you guys watching if you're still here to the end, and we'll see y'all on the next one.